Thank you, Rachel. My name is Mike Kaiser. I'm Executive Director of the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission. Our job is to plan for whatever's going to happen over the next 30 years. And we go out to 2040, and we have interim projections to 2020 and 2030. But we work for the two counties, Lehigh and Northampton counties, and the municipalities in the area. The next 30 years are going to be continued, is going to be a continued time of growth in the area, and we create plans to deal with growth and hopefully to get the kind of growth that we want to get that serves the goals and objectives of people living in the area. So we create what we call a comprehensive plan to do that, and the last plan developed in the valley was enacted by the two counties in the year 2005. So I'll give you a couple statistics here to give you some idea of where growth is going. First, population growth in the area. We figure the population will grow from 647,000 in 2010 to 874,000 by the year 2040. That's roughly about 226,700 people. Compared to the preceding 30 years, we grew 30%, and we're going to grow 35% in the coming 30 years. So growth is accelerating in the area. We also project a 38% increase in employment in the area. That's a change of about 131,000 new jobs. Now, I think the question is, where's all this growth coming from? Well, some of it's coming from natural increase, births over deaths, but I think a lot of people in the Lehigh Valley realize that the growth is also coming to a great degree from New Jersey and the New York metropolitan area, and a lot of our new residents of the area have come from that area. Now, map number 2 that you see in front of you shows something about how that growth is going to be distributed in the area. It's a map of local municipalities, and the period from 2000 to 2010 was kind of an interesting period compared to the preceding 30 years because it showed significant increases in population in the three cities, and we think that's going to continue into the coming years. Mostly the cities had lost population during that period of time, and due to initiatives in the cities to improve the environments, due to demographics, due to affordable housing, and a whole variety of factors, we think the cities are going to be coming back. The dark brown area in the center there is Allentown, and then we've also had population growth in the suburbs to the west of Allentown and upper and lower Macungie Township. We've had population growth in Bethlehem and Easton. Most of the growth in Northampton County will be in the tan areas that are shown on the map. When you look at the employment growth in the area, it follows sort of the same pattern. The dark brown area is Allentown. Bethlehem in orange over in Northampton County is going to be show employment growth, has a lot of areas to accommodate employment growth in the coming years, as does Allentown and also Easton. So we're looking at significant change both in population and in employment, and we've created a comprehensive plan to deal with that. And our comprehensive plan currently goes out to 2030, but we've updated our forecast to take the plan out to 2040. We'll be doing a lot of work on that in the coming years. But the comprehensive plan itself deals broadly with 4 topics. One is open space preservation in the area. Secondly, community renewal, the redevelopment of properties that have been previously used by business and industry. And we've got the development of industry in the Lehigh Valley goes back to the late 18th century. So we've got a couple centuries worth of development and growth in the area that is still here. Some of it, the land that's out there represents how the development was in the past, and the problem becomes how do you put all that land back to productive use, and that's what the cities are going to be talking about to some degree. We also need to improve infrastructure. We talk about infrastructure, we mean highways and transit, sewer and water facilities and the like, and we're also talking about orderly growth and not random growth, that we attempt to relate all these infrastructure facilities and parks and open space to where people live in the area. The next slide that I have indicates we've got 2 counties, 62 local municipalities, and 725 square miles, and we show the population and employment forecasts. And New Jersey migration is a key factor in that growth. And for the last 10 years, nearly 100% of the growth in Northampton County has come from New Jersey and about 80% in Lehigh County, according to our records. We're transitioning from urban to rural, or rural to urban by using about 4 square miles a year. Now that's diminished to some degree in the last couple of years because we've been in a period of recession, but it'll come back and showing signs of that now. And that means sometime in the next 30 years we'll probably consume about 120 square miles of land. We've done public opinion surveys in the Lehigh Valley over the years to try and figure out what people think about are the important things that you should be talking about when you're creating comprehensive plans. And that showed in the slide that is labeled major public issues. And I don't think these issues are going to surprise too many people. 3 top issues are congestion, and when people think about congestion, I think mostly they think about Route 22. I know I do because I use it every day in the week. They're concerned about crime in the area. They're concerned about too much development and urban sprawl, and of course that's a topic that we hope to deal with, but it's a very difficult topic to deal with. The management of land at the public level is not easy to do. People in the Lehigh Valley like being close to green land and green open space, and they bring that up time and time again in all of our surveys, and preservation of natural resources and farmland and redevelopment of old industrial sites, improvement of Route 22 and the expansion of transit are all big issues by the public, and that's why we're addressing them. The next map is a colorful map, which is probably hard to read for you looking at TV, but you'll see in the center area there's a long stretch. If you go to the right side of the map, Easton is at the edge of the Delaware River, and to the left side we've got the Berks County boundary, and then we've got a big yellow streak across there, and that's yellow represents residential, and the reds represent industrial uses, and then all those lavender colors are from cement quarries and slate quarries in the past. So we have a fairly concentrated east-west orientation of development in the area that follows Routes 22 and I-78. That'll come out further as we go through the maps. When we started our comprehensive planning thought, because of the public interest in open space, we decided the best place to start this planning would be to look at the places we think ought to be conserved and preserved for open space. And the map called Natural Resources Plan, the darker green areas show the places that have got the most urban rural characteristics that fit into an open space program. They include Blue Mountain to the north, and the Highlands area to the south, and a lot of the stream valleys in the 2 county areas, which are the long, irregular green strips that you can see. So that's where we started our comprehensive plan. Then the next map, called the Composite Natural Resource Parks and Open Space Map, shows what we've achieved. And a lot of the purple areas shown there are existing public parks. There are a lot of them in the 2 county area. The area on the northern boundary of the area is the state game lands, and then we've got the yellow blotches show areas that have been preserved by the counties through their open space conservation easement program, and they've got about 33,000 acres of land in that program in the 2 counties. The next map shows where we have public sewer service areas in the area. Public sewer is very important, and you'll see at the next map, our land use plan map, how the availability of public sewer, public water, and other things influence the urban growth areas and indicate where we should be promoting urban growth. And we're looking for higher densities than we've seen in the past. And then we see farmland and natural open space surrounding that. So this is the basis of our land use plan for the future, and it accounts for lots of different types of land uses within those general blobs. We also have a lot of smaller communities in the area that came about as a result of early slate quarrying and cement quarrying in the area. And finally, to wrap it up here, Land use is not the only issue that we deal with in our planning efforts in the Lehigh Valley. There are many more issues. I've mentioned a few of them already, but we've done stormwater management in the area. We have a geographic information system. And now, as we get into the current program that others on the panel will be talking about, we'll be doing more work on affordable housing. We're going to be trying to do some work that interconnects us with climate issues in other parts of in the world, and also efficient use of utilities and the like. So we cover a lot of different categories, and in our work, we've been in existence for 50 years, since 1961-62, and we expect to be working with other communities as we go forward from this point onward.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mike. There's going to be a lot more coming out of the Planning Commission over the next year and a half, so certainly stay tuned. I do want to introduce our other three panelists here. Darlene, why don't you start?
I'm Darlene Heller. I'm the Planning and Zoning Director for the City of Bethlehem.
Hi, good evening. I'm Mike Heffley. I'm the Planning Director for the City of Allentown.
Hi, I'm Becky Bradley. I'm the Planning and Codes Director for the City of Easton.
Thank you so much for being here. I do want, before we get into each of the specific cities, I do want to ask a question from one of our audience members to the entire panel. What exactly do you mean by creating a regional sustainability plan? We heard a little bit about the comprehensive plan, but from each of your perspectives, what does it really mean to create a regional sustainability plan?
In my opinion, I think what we want to do is take a look at the components of the valley that we want to prioritize, and we want to make sure that they're there for future generations. That, you know, when the 30-year plan wraps up, we want to make sure that we still have open space, that we still have quality neighborhoods, interesting downtowns, and good jobs here. And I think that's what a sustainable plan does for us.
I think Darlene's hit on the major target topics of the sustainability program, and I don't think they're unusual or uncommon for planners and the public to think about.
Yeah, it's really, I think, all about how you grow as a region and even as individual municipalities without necessarily taking away or hurting the future residents that will live in the valley.
Sure, and tying those economic development needs with our existing infrastructure needs and how to kind of bring those things together with jobs and housing and all of those things is really what is going to make us viable over the long term and able to accommodate those new populations that are moving here.
And our efforts don't just focus on land conservation and conservation of resources. They also pay attention to the need to create jobs and work for people who reside here and prosperity for people who live in the area. So that's a big piece of the issue also.
Right.
And that's all people, you know, people of various income categories, educational backgrounds, and the like.